Many people assume that every nut is good for you, but here's the surprising truth. After 70, some nuts can quietly drain your energy, raise hidden risks for your heart and digestion, and even cloud your memory. Yet others work like powerful allies from nature, restoring balance, strength, and clarity. The difference between them is life-changing. In today's video, we'll uncover the nuts you should leave behind, and the Cysics you should embrace to keep your body strong and your mind sharp. Before we get started, drop a comment below and let us know where you're watching from. We love connecting with your stories and experiences. And make sure you stay with us all the way to the end, because that's when we'll reveal the nuts that can truly protect your health and help you thrive in your later years. Let's begin with the 6 nuts you need to avoid. Here we go. Number 1. Brazil nuts. Not long ago, a retired teacher in Florida shared her story during a nutrition class. She had always believed that natural foods were completely safe. Wanting to do something good for her health, she began eating a small handful of Brazil nuts every afternoon with her tea. At first, she felt proud of this new habit. But after several months, she noticed her hair thinning, her nails becoming brittle, and a strange metallic taste in her mouth. Doctors ran tests and discovered that her selenium levels were far too high. The very nuts she thought were helping her had quietly become harmful. This story shows why Brazil nuts are both fascinating and risky. They are one of the richest sources of selenium, a mineral the body needs, but only in very small amounts. Selenium protects the thyroid, supports immunity, and slows cellular aging. For seniors, it can be a helpful shield. But the body only needs about 55 micrograms a day, and a single Brazil nut can hold between 68 and 91 micrograms. 2 nuts can already push past the safe limit. Unlike some vitamins that wash out easily, selenium builds up in the body. Too much over time can lead to selenosis, a condition that brings fatigue, hair loss, stomach upset, and even nerve damage. Researchers writing in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism confirmed that adults who regularly ate Brazil nuts without control were at higher risk of selenium overload. This danger increases with age because kidneys naturally slow down and cannot clear excess minerals as quickly. The safe path is not to avoid Brazil nuts completely, but to treat them with care. Think of them not as a snack bowl food, but as a strong supplement. 1 nut, enjoyed 2 or 3 times per week, is enough to deliver selenium's benefits without harm. Pairing that single nut with safer choices like almonds, walnuts, or pistachios can provide balance and variety. The gentle wisdom here is that more is not always better. Even nature's gifts can become dangerous if taken without measure. By respecting Brazil nuts as an occasional treat instead of a daily habit, seniors can enjoy their unique flavor while protecting their health and independence. Each careful choice is a way of honoring the body, keeping it strong for the days to come. Number 2. Macadamia nuts. You can gain weight from nuts, even the ones people call healthy. For many, this sounds shocking. After all, nuts have long been celebrated in American culture as the ultimate heart-healthy snack. Yet macadamia nuts are a striking example of how something natural, luxurious, and delicious can quietly tip the scales in the wrong direction if not enjoyed with care. Consider the story of a retired Navy veteran in San Diego. Determined to give up cookies, he proudly swapped his evening treats for macadamias. Each night he poured a small bowl, savoring their creamy, buttery taste while watching the late-night news. But 6 months later, during a routine physical, his physician raised concerns. His cholesterol was climbing, his weight had inched upward, and his digestion felt sluggish. What he thought was a wise exchange had turned into an unseen challenge. The explanation is found in their nutrition profile. Roughly 3/4 of the calories in macadamias come from fat, about 21 grams of fat in just 1 ounce. While most of this is monounsaturated, which is better than saturated fat, macadamias provide little protein and very little fiber. The result is a food that is calorie-dense but not filling. A few handfuls can easily exceed 400 calories, which is a quiet trap for older adults whose metabolism naturally slows with age. Research published in Nutrition and Metabolism in 2016 confirmed that while small amounts of macadamias could modestly lower certain heart risk markers, their benefits did not compare with more balanced nuts like almonds or walnuts. The danger grows when macadamias are sold roasted with added salt, oils, or coated in chocolate, as is common in Hawaii or in glossy gift boxes across the mainland. Added sodium strains blood pressure, while sugars and processed oils increase inflammation and accelerate fatigue. For seniors already managing high blood pressure, diabetes, or cardiovascular disease, this can become a silent burden. The healthier path is not elimination, but moderation. Macadamias can still be part of a joyful life, but they should be treated as a luxury, not a daily ritual. A small serving, just a few nuts, on special occasions, preferably raw and unsalted, allows enjoyment without harm. For everyday snacking, almonds, walnuts, and pistachios provide greater balance. They offer protein, fiber, and stronger cardiovascular and cognitive protection. Good health is not about denying pleasure, but about placing it wisely. Macadamias remind us that indulgence belongs in life, but discipline keeps life long and strong. Choosing them sparingly is a simple act of self-respect, one that protects energy, mobility, and the freedom to keep enjoying the moments that truly matter. Number 3. Cashews. How can something so smooth and gentle on the tongue carry a hidden edge sharp enough to wound? That is the paradox of cashews. Their creamy taste has made them beloved across America. From the trail mixes packed into hiking bags in Colorado to the silky sauces poured over family dinners in New York. They look harmless, taste comforting, and feel indulgent without guilt. Yet beneath that soft surface lies a truth that older bodies must face with care. Cashews can be more demanding on the kidneys and metabolism than many realize. Consider a grandfather in Chicago who turned to cashews as his evening snack, thinking they were a better choice than cookies. At first, it seemed wise, but months later he found himself in the hospital with kidney stones so painful he could barely walk. The doctors explained that his steady habit of eating large handfuls of cashews had delivered more oxalates than his kidneys could process. Cashews are high in these compounds, which bind with calcium and form crystals. Younger kidneys often flush them out, but aging kidneys, slower by nature, allow them to harden into stones. A study in Kidney International confirmed what this man experienced firsthand. High oxalate diets raise the risk of kidney problems, especially in seniors. Cashews bring another challenge. Their higher carbohydrate and sugar content compared with nuts like almonds or walnuts. For older adults living with diabetes or prediabetes, even modest portions can cause subtle spikes in blood sugar. Day after day, those small rises accumulate, feeding inflammation, fatigue, and cardiovascular strain. And in American grocery stores, cashews are rarely plain. Salted versions add pressure to blood vessels. Honey-roasted ones pour sugar onto already delicate systems, and flavored mixes use oils that worsen inflammation. What starts as a handful of pleasure can end as a quiet burden. But the lesson is not to fear food. It is to place it wisely. Cashews are not villains. They are simply guests who should not overstay their welcome. A small serving, perhaps 18 nuts once in a while, enjoyed raw or dry roasted without salt, can be safe. Used sparingly in a favorite recipe, they bring richness without harm. For everyday strength, though, the body is better served by almonds, walnuts, and pistachios, which support the heart, brain, and steady blood sugar. By choosing them with moderation, seniors can preserve both pleasure and protection. Each mindful choice at the table is a quiet promise to honor the body, to safeguard independence, and to make every year not only longer, but stronger. Number 4. Candied and flavored nuts. At a local county fair in Pennsylvania, two friends stood in line at a vendor's stall. One insisted that candied almonds were harmless. After all, they started as nuts, which everyone knows are healthy. The other shook his head, warning that the sugar and coatings turned them into candy rather than nutrition. Their debate, overheard by many, highlights a controversy that has quietly spread across American kitchens. Are flavored nuts still a healthy choice? Or do they belong in the same category as sweets and snacks we try to limit? Candied and flavored nuts carry the illusion of health. They begin with almonds, peanuts, or cashews, which are indeed nutrient-rich. But once coated in sugar, honey, caramel, salt, or artificial spices, their benefits quickly unravel. A serving of honey-roasted peanuts can hold over 15 grams of added sugar, nearly half of the daily limit recommended by the American Heart Association for women and a third for men. That sugar sends blood glucose soaring, strains insulin response, and fuels inflammation. For seniors managing diabetes or prediabetes, even modest amounts can increase fatigue and compromise long-term control. The risks extend beyond sugar. High sodium, often found in barbecue-coated or salted nuts, places additional pressure on blood vessels, raising blood pressure and increasing the risk of heart attack or stroke. Preservatives and artificial oils added during roasting further stress the cardiovascular system. Research from the American Diabetes Association has shown that even small doses of added sugar and processed oils in healthy foods impair insulin sensitivity and contribute to metabolic syndrome. What feels like a safe indulgence is, in truth, no safer than a candy bar. Yet the cultural pull is strong. The smell of cinnamon-glazed almonds at a holiday market or the crunch of honey-coated pecans at a summer fair evokes powerful memories. For seniors, these treats are tied to tradition, celebration, and family gatherings. The challenge is to honor that joy without paying a price in health. The solution lies in reimagining flavor without destruction. Instead of buying commercial candied nuts, seniors can toast raw almonds at home with cinnamon, cocoa, or turmeric, spices that add warmth, sweetness, and even anti-inflammatory benefits without sugar overload. By creating homemade versions, flavor and nostalgia remain while health is preserved. Not everything that begins healthy ends healthy. Flavored nuts remind us that the body's well-being depends not only on what we eat, but how it is prepared. Choosing natural versions or making our own turns a potential hazard into an act of empowerment, keeping both the taste of tradition and the promise of tomorrow intact. Number 5. Pine nuts. Some foods are like loyal friends, steady and reliable, while others are like charming acquaintances, pleasant in small doses but unwise to see every day. Pine nuts fall into the latter category. They lend a delicate, buttery flavor that has graced pesto sauces and gourmet dishes for centuries. Yet, as delightful as they are, pine nuts carry risks that become more significant with age, making them a nut best enjoyed sparingly. Picture an Italian-American dinner table in New Jersey. A family gathers around a large bowl of pasta tossed with homemade pesto, the fragrance of basil and garlic filling the air. The sauce owes its richness to pine nuts. Everyone smiles, thinking of tradition and taste, unaware that these little kernels, though elegant, may not be as friendly to older bodies as they appear. The science tells us why. Pine nuts are calorie-dense and high in omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 is essential in small amounts, the typical American diet already provides far too much of it compared with omega-3s. This imbalance drives chronic inflammation, which is linked to arthritis, heart disease, and autoimmune conditions. For seniors who may already be coping with stiff joints or cardiovascular strain, the extra omega-6 adds fuel to the fire. There is also an unusual phenomenon called pine mouth. In some individuals, eating pine nuts triggers a lingering metallic or bitter taste that can last for days, distorting the enjoyment of meals. Though not harmful in the long term, it can be distressing, particularly for older adults who already struggle with appetite or taste sensitivity. Storage presents another issue. Because pine nuts are rich in delicate oils, they oxidize quickly. Left too long in warm kitchens or on grocery store shelves, they can turn rancid, producing compounds that irritate digestion and diminish nutritional quality. For seniors with more fragile stomachs, this risk is not trivial. The answer is not to abandon pine nuts entirely, but to respect their limits. Use them as a special ingredient rather than a pantry staple. Keep servings small and store them in the refrigerator to protect freshness. Balance their omega-6 content by pairing them with omega-3 rich foods like walnuts, flax seeds, or salmon. Pine nuts are like that friend you enjoy seeing occasionally, but not every day. By savoring them as a rare delicacy rather than a daily habit, seniors can embrace their flavor without inviting unnecessary strain. Each mindful choice helps ensure that meals remain both joyful and safe, preserving vitality with every bite. Number 6. Commercial nut mixes. Be careful with those party nut mixes, warned Dr. Walter Willett, a leading nutrition researcher at Harvard. They may look harmless, but most of them are closer to junk food than to health food. His caution echoes a truth that many older adults overlook. Commercial nut blends, sold in large plastic tubs at supermarkets and warehouse stores, carry a health halo because they contain nuts. Yet what surrounds those nuts? Oils, salts, sugars, and artificial coatings transforms them from nourishment into risk, especially for seniors. Walk through any Costco or Walmart, and you will see aisles lined with oversized containers of party mixes or snack blends. They are marketed as quick energy, heart-healthy, or even diabetic-friendly. But the reality is far more complex. Most of these mixes are roasted in hydrogenated oils, such as soybean or palm oil, both known to increase inflammation and damage blood vessels. Research published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology in 2017 linked trans fats and hydrogenated oils directly to vascular dysfunction and higher cholesterol levels. For seniors already managing heart conditions, the daily nibbling of these mixes quietly pushes risk higher. The additives do not stop with oil. Excess sodium, often more than 200 milligrams per serving, strains the kidneys and raises blood pressure. Sugar coatings or candy pieces mixed in add spikes in blood glucose, undermining the very stability that older adults need most. And because these tubs are sold in bulk, portion control becomes nearly impossible. A handful quickly becomes several, adding hundreds of unnecessary calories before the body even registers fullness. Yet the attraction is understandable. The convenience, the flavor variety, and the sense of abundance make these mixes feel like a modern staple. For older adults seeking an easy snack, they appear to be a safer choice than chips or cookies. But appearances can mislead. What seems like a smart habit may quietly erode energy, digestion, and cardiovascular health. The healthier path is homemade. By choosing raw or dry roasted, unsalted nuts and combining them at home with unsweetened dried fruit or a few squares of dark chocolate, seniors can create mixes that are both flavorful and protective. Pre-portioning small jars helps with control, turning snacking into a mindful act rather than an unconscious indulgence. Commercial nut mixes belong to the category of foods best avoided. By replacing them with simple, self-made blends, older adults can keep the pleasure of snacking while protecting the body that carries them forward. Health is not about giving up joy. It is about reclaiming it in wiser, safer forms. We have seen that some nuts, though widely enjoyed, can quietly work against our health. Brazil nuts with excess selenium, macadamias high in fat, cashews rich in oxalates, sugar-coated flavored nuts, pine nuts heavy in omega-6, and commercial mixes filled with salt and oils may slowly strain the heart, kidneys, and metabolism. By setting them aside, we protect our strength and create space for better choices. So, Which 6 nuts should we value and bring into our diet to maintain steady health in our later years? Let us continue and explore together. Number 1. Pecans. Among the many nuts found on American tables, the pecan holds a special place. It does not dazzle with exotic origins or unusual colors, yet it has earned respect through centuries of tradition. Native to North America and deeply tied to the culture of the South, pecans are both a food of heritage and a food of health. They stand as a reminder that sometimes the quiet, familiar choices bring the most enduring value. What makes pecans remarkable is their balance of taste and nutrition. Their mild, buttery flavor hides a profile rich in monounsaturated fats, the same type found in olive oil, known for reducing LDL cholesterol and supporting heart health. They also carry polyphenols, powerful plant compounds that calm inflammation, a hidden enemy of aging that links arthritis, heart disease, and memory decline. A 2018 study in Nutrients showed that a daily serving of pecans improved cholesterol levels and reduced markers of inflammation in older adults. Just 1 ounce, about 19 halves, can provide measurable protection. Beyond fats and antioxidants, pecans bring minerals essential for resilience. Zinc supports immunity, while manganese aids in wound healing and bone strength. These functions grow increasingly important with age, when the body's natural defenses slow. Unlike pecan pies or sugar-laden pralines that bury these gifts under calories, raw or lightly roasted pecans preserve their healing power without harm. A retired teacher from Alabama shared her experience after replacing morning pastries with oatmeal topped with pecans. Within months, her cholesterol improved, her energy stabilized, and the stiffness in her hands eased. Her story mirrors the science. Simple, steady choices create profound results. The key lesson is safety through moderation. Pecans are not meant to be eaten in endless handfuls, but in measured servings. 1 ounce per day is sufficient, providing benefits without excess. Keeping a small jar of raw or dry roasted pecans in the kitchen can turn snacking into a ritual of care rather than indulgence. Pecans are not guilty by their association with desserts. In their pure form, they are one of nature's finest gifts, offering comfort, strength, and protection. By embracing them with moderation and intention, every bite becomes a small act of self-respect, reinforcing that health is preserved not by extremes, but by thoughtful choices repeated day after day. Number 2. Peanuts. On a warm summer evening in St. Louis, an elderly couple sat on the porch listening to the radio broadcast of a baseball game. As the announcer's voice echoed through the air, they passed between them a small bowl of roasted peanuts. For them, the sound of the crowd and the crunch of peanuts carried memories of younger days at the ballpark with their children. What seemed like a simple snack was, in truth, a quiet bridge between past and present. Yet modern science tells us that peanuts are not only a reminder of tradition, they are also one of the most affordable and effective foods for protecting health in later life. Peanuts, though technically legumes, act nutritionally much like tree nuts. They are rich in niacin and folate, both critical for maintaining brain function and preventing age-related decline. Recent studies on older adults have shown that higher intake of niacin from foods, including peanuts, was linked to slower cognitive deterioration and sharper memory performance. Vitamin E, another nutrient found in peanuts, has been tied to a significantly lower risk of Alzheimer's disease, with some research indicating as much as a 70% reduction in risk among seniors with higher intake. In addition to protecting the mind, peanuts offer cardiovascular benefits. Just 1 ounce a day, about 28 peanuts, has been associated with lower rates of stroke and heart disease. They also contain arginine, an amino acid that supports healthy blood flow by relaxing blood vessels. For seniors working to manage high blood pressure or circulation issues, this natural support can be a gentle but meaningful ally. Peanuts' unique combination of protein, fiber, and healthy fats also makes them effective for stabilizing blood sugar, an important factor for older adults living with type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. A retired librarian once shared that by replacing her evening dessert with a small handful of dry roasted unsalted peanuts, she noticed steady improvements in energy and clearer focus within a few months. Her doctor later confirmed better cholesterol numbers and improved blood pressure, demonstrating how small daily habits can create large changes over time. The key, as with all foods, is mindful preparation. Peanuts fried in oil, salted heavily, or coated in sugar lose their protective qualities and become burdensome. The safest choice is plain, raw, or dry roasted peanuts, enjoyed in moderation. Paired with whole grain toast, apple slices, or sprinkled into oatmeal, they can transform a simple snack into a daily act of protection. The lesson of peanuts is one of accessibility and quiet strength. They are humble, familiar, and affordable, yet they deliver powerful benefits when chosen wisely. For older adults, each handful is not only a taste of memory, but also an investment in resilience, independence, and the promise of more vibrant days ahead. Number 3. Hazelnuts. A hand reaches into a glass jar, the soft clink of round hazelnuts echoing as they tumble into a ceramic bowl. The kitchen smells faintly of coffee, the morning light spilling through lace curtains, and in that simple gesture lies both memory and medicine. Hazelnuts, often reserved for holiday desserts or tucked into chocolate spreads, are far more than festive indulgence. For older adults, they are among the most valuable sources of protection against the wear and tear of age. What sets hazelnuts apart is their exceptional content of vitamin E. This fat-soluble antioxidant shields cells from oxidative stress, slowing the cellular damage that accelerates aging. A large longitudinal study of older adults found that higher vitamin E intake from natural sources like hazelnuts was associated with slower cognitive decline and better memory retention over several years. Another recent review linked consistent vitamin E intake with a lower risk of Alzheimer's disease, emphasizing the importance of food-based sources. For seniors worried about fading clarity, hazelnuts provide a gentle but meaningful defense. Hazelnuts also support eye health. Vitamin E, along with lutein and zeaxanthin, helps protect against age-related macular degeneration, a leading cause of vision loss in older adults. Combined with magnesium, present in generous amounts, hazelnuts aid in relaxing muscles, regulating blood pressure, and improving sleep quality. For someone struggling with restless nights or occasional hypertension, these small nuts can offer subtle, natural relief. Consider the story of a grandmother in Minnesota who began grinding hazelnuts into her morning yogurt after her doctor encouraged her to increase antioxidant intake. Within months, she noticed not only steadier energy, but also deeper, more restful sleep. At her next appointment, her blood pressure had improved, and she felt confident enough to walk her granddaughter to school without tiring. Her experience illustrates how small, consistent choices shape both daily life and long-term well-being. The key, as always, is moderation and preparation. About 1 ounce, roughly 21 kernels, a few times a week is enough to deliver benefits without adding excess calories. Choose plain, raw, or dry-roasted hazelnuts rather than sugar-coated or chocolate-covered versions, which undermine their value. Hazelnuts remind us that health can be both simple and satisfying. Each handful is not only nourishment, but a quiet affirmation of vitality, helping older adults protect memory, preserve vision, and find steadiness in body and spirit. The act of reaching for hazelnuts each week becomes more than a habit. It becomes a cinematic ritual of care, as beautiful as it is practical. Number 4. Walnuts. Choose walnuts today if you want to protect your brain and heart for the years ahead. Few foods speak so directly to the needs of older adults as this simple nut, whose wrinkled shell uncannily mirrors the organ it nourishes most, the human brain. More than a coincidence, Science has repeatedly confirmed walnuts as one of the most powerful dietary allies for healthy aging. Walnuts are uniquely rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. These essential fats reduce inflammation, regulate blood pressure, and strengthen communication between brain cells. A large clinical trial published in 2019 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that seniors who ate a handful of walnuts daily experienced slower cognitive decline and performed better on memory tests compared with those who did not. More recent research in 2022 found that older adults who included walnuts at least 5 times per week had a 14% lower risk of death from all causes, reinforcing their broad protective power. Beyond the brain, walnuts aid sleep and emotional balance. They contain natural melatonin, which helps regulate the sleep cycle, and antioxidants such as ellagic acid that protect cells from oxidative stress. Observational studies have linked walnut consumption to reduced symptoms of depression, an issue that quietly affects many older adults. By supporting both neurological and emotional health, walnuts provide not only years to life, but life to years. Consider the experience of a retired engineer in California who began sprinkling walnuts over his morning cereal instead of reaching for bacon. Within months, his doctor recorded improvements in cholesterol levels and blood pressure. Just as importantly, he reported deeper sleep and felt sharper during his daily crossword puzzles. What began as a small dietary change became a turning point for his independence and confidence. Safety and portion control matter. 1 ounce per day, about 7 walnut halves, is enough to secure benefits without unnecessary calories. They are best consumed raw or lightly toasted, never coated in sugar or excessive salt, which diminish their gifts. Pairing walnuts with berries enhances antioxidant synergy, while combining them with leafy greens or whole grains creates meals that build resilience across multiple systems. Make walnuts a daily ritual. They are not merely snacks. They are medicine from nature, disguised in familiar shells. By choosing walnuts consistently, older adults can safeguard memory, support heart rhythm, and nurture emotional well-being. Each handful becomes a deliberate step toward clarity, strength, and a future lived with vitality. Number 4. Walnuts. Choose walnuts today if you want to protect your brain and heart for the years ahead. Few foods speak so directly to the needs of older adults as this simple nut, whose wrinkled shell uncannily mirrors the organ it nourishes most, the human brain. More than a coincidence, science has repeatedly confirmed walnuts as one of the most powerful dietary allies for healthy aging. Walnuts are uniquely rich in alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid. These essential fats reduce inflammation, regulate blood pressure, and strengthen communication between brain cells. A large clinical trial published in 2019 in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that seniors who ate a handful of walnuts daily experienced slower cognitive decline and performed better on memory tests compared with those who did not. More recent research in 2022 found that older adults who included walnuts at least 5 times per week had a 14% lower risk of death from all causes, reinforcing their broad protective power. Beyond the brain, walnuts aid sleep and emotional balance. They contain natural melatonin, which helps regulate the sleep cycle, and antioxidants such as ellagic acid that protect cells from oxidative stress. Observational studies have linked walnut consumption to reduced symptoms of depression, an issue that quietly affects many older adults. By supporting both neurological and emotional health, walnuts provide not only years to life, but life to years. Consider the experience of a retired engineer in California who began sprinkling walnuts over his morning cereal instead of reaching for bacon. Within months, his doctor recorded improvements in cholesterol levels and blood pressure. Just as importantly, he reported deeper sleep and felt sharper during his daily crossword puzzles. What began as a small dietary change became a turning point for his independence and confidence. Safety and portion control matter. 1 ounce per day, about 7 walnut halves, is enough to secure benefits without unnecessary calories. They are best consumed raw or lightly toasted, never coated in sugar or excessive salt, which diminish their gifts. Pairing walnuts with berries enhances antioxidant synergy, while combining them with leafy greens or whole grains creates meals that build resilience across multiple systems. Make walnuts a daily ritual. They are not merely snacks, they are medicine from nature, disguised in familiar shells. By choosing walnuts consistently, older adults can safeguard memory, support heart rhythm, and nurture emotional well-being. Each handful becomes a deliberate step toward clarity, strength, and a future lived with vitality. Number 5. Almonds. Imagine this paradox. A food once considered too hard, too plain, even unworthy of fine tables has become one of the most trusted allies for graceful aging. The almond, small and simple, does not boast the richness of macadamias or the sweetness of candied nuts. Yet in its modest crunch lies a surprising truth. This humble nut quietly delivers some of the strongest protection for the bones, the heart, and the mind. Almonds are rich in protein, fiber, magnesium, calcium, and vitamin E. This unique combination supports many of the systems that weaken with age. For seniors worried about bone density, almonds provide calcium and magnesium that work together to strengthen the skeletal structure, reducing the risk of fractures. A 2015 study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that daily almond intake not only lowered LDL cholesterol, but also reduced abdominal fat, a major contributor to cardiovascular disease. More recently, research from 2021 confirmed that almonds, due to their low glycemic index, help stabilize blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity, making them an excellent choice for older adults managing type 2 diabetes. Beyond numbers, almonds influence daily comfort. Their fiber supports smooth digestion, a common concern in later years. Their protein helps preserve muscle mass, a critical factor in balance and independence. Vitamin E, abundant in almonds, acts as a shield against oxidative stress, protecting skin elasticity and slowing cognitive decline. In this way, almonds quietly attend to multiple corners of health, from circulation to memory. Consider the story of a retired farmer in Arizona who replaced his mid-morning pastry with a handful of almonds. Within months, his doctor reported healthier blood sugar levels and a noticeable drop in cholesterol. He himself noticed something even more meaningful. His energy no longer crashed in the afternoons, and he could spend more time gardening without fatigue. Safety, as always, comes with moderation. About 1 ounce, roughly 23 almonds a day, is enough to deliver benefits without unnecessary calories. Eaten raw, lightly roasted, or blended into smoothies, they integrate easily into everyday meals. What matters most is consistency, not excess. By choosing almonds as a daily companion, seniors can build sturdier bones, steadier hearts, and clearer minds. Each handful is more than a snack. It is a deliberate act of care, proof that the quietest foods sometimes speak with the loudest impact on longevity and well-being. Number 6. Pistachios. Come, imagine holding a small bowl filled with bright green pistachios. As each shell cracks open with a gentle snap, there is both sound and anticipation, a ritual that slows the moment and turns snacking into an experience. Unlike many foods that disappear in hurried bites, pistachios invite patience, mindfulness, and joy. For older adults, they are not only colorful and playful, but also remarkably nourishing for body and mind. Pistachios stand out as one of the highest fiber nuts, supporting digestive health and feeding beneficial gut bacteria. Scientists now recognize the gut as a critical driver of overall well-being, influencing immunity, energy, and even mood. A 2020 study found that adults who ate pistachios daily improved their gut microbiome composition, showing higher levels of bacteria linked to reduced inflammation and stronger immune response. For seniors often managing multiple medications and digestive challenges, this is a quiet but powerful benefit. These vibrant nuts also protect the eyes. Pistachios are rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, carotenoids that concentrate in the retina and safeguard vision. Research has shown that higher intake of these compounds reduces the risk of age-related macular degeneration, one of the leading causes of vision loss among older adults. Adding pistachios to the diet, therefore, is not only about taste, but about preserving the ability to read, to recognize faces, and to enjoy the world's details longer. Cardiovascular health gains equal support. Pistachios help lower LDL cholesterol while raising HDL, improving the balance that keeps arteries flexible. In one clinical trial, adults who consumed pistachios daily saw reductions in both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Combined with potassium and B vitamins, pistachios become a natural aid to heart rhythm and circulation. Consider the story of a grandmother in New Mexico who began keeping a small jar of unshelled pistachios by her favorite armchair. Instead of cookies, she reached for a few pistachios during her evening television shows. The shells slowed her down, preventing overeating, while her digestion improved and her doctor noted healthier cholesterol at her next visit. The act of cracking each nut became a small but meaningful ritual of care. 1 ounce, about 49 pistachios in their shells, is enough. Enjoy them raw or roasted lightly without added salt. Their cheerful color, satisfying crunch, and health-giving power make them one of the most delightful additions to a senior's daily life. To choose pistachios is to accept an invitation, not just to eat, but to savor, to protect, and to celebrate the vitality that remains. Of all the lessons hidden in these 12 stories, one rises above the rest. Even the finest gifts of nature can cause harm when taken without measure. Brazil nuts, macadamias, cashews, candied nuts, pine nuts, and commercial mixes remind us that too much of the wrong kind slowly steals energy, balance, and peace of mind. Pecans, peanuts, hazelnuts, walnuts, almonds, and pistachios, on the other hand, show us how small, steady portions can protect the heart, sharpen memory, calm inflammation, and bring daily vitality. The wisdom is simple. Nothing is good in excess, and everything is safer in moderation. A handful can heal, but a handful too many can undo the benefit. Health after 50, 60, or 70 is not about chasing extremes or perfect diets. It is about respecting the body's limits and honoring its needs with care. Keep your servings modest, choose the plain and natural over the coated and processed, and rotate your nuts to bring balance and variety. Think of each mindful portion as a quiet promise to yourself, to live not just longer, but stronger, clearer, and with more joy in every step. Now it is your turn. What change will you make first after hearing these stories? Will you swap out flavored nuts for raw ones, portion your walnuts ahead of time, or try adding almonds to your breakfast? Share your answer in the comments below. Your words may inspire someone else to begin their journey today. If you found value in this video, please share this video with friends or family who could use a gentle reminder about the power of everyday choices. And if you have not yet subscribed, don't wait. Subscribe to our channel right now so you won't miss the next lesson. Each video is a chance to learn, to grow, and to make life after 70 healthier, steadier, and brighter. Thank you for watching. Follow our other videos to receive more valuable lessons for a long, meaningful life. Wishing you a wonderful day filled with health, hope, and peace.